By the time that you realise Uzumaki has wormed its way into your mind, it's already too late. You're caught in the spiral. Hello, I'm Northern Soul Reaper, and today I want to talk about the phenomenal horror series by Junji Ito. It's one of the best examples of horror in manga, in my opinion. So before we get started, I just want to say that I will be trying to spoil as little as possible about Uzumaki. It's something that should absolutely be experienced with as little prior knowledge as possible before going in. That being said, I will be, giving some information on characters, setting, and some themes that the book touches upon. Uzumaki takes place in the small coastal town of Kurizucho. It centres around high school girl Kiri, her family, and her boyfriend Shuichi as they witness a series of bizarre and strange events that take place in the town. Eventually, these seemingly unconnected events sweep across the entire town, and they can all be connected or traced back in some way to the spiral, this shape that keeps appearing in the town and infecting the inhabitants, changing them in horrific ways or driving them mad. Uzumaki blends horror anthology with an overarching plot that weaves its way through the entire series. Early on, each chapter presents a seemingly standalone story, and it's usually wrapped up by the end of the chapter, which allows for the next chapter to start off fresh. Eventually, though, the events literally spiral out of control as the town is warped and changed forever, as the spiral literally infects every facet of the town people's daily lives. There were times when I was reading Uzumaki and I was thinking to myself that it's literally insane that these people are witnessing these events and not remembering them or not referencing them in the next chapter. But what you come to realise is that this was by design all along. The townspeople were infected by the spiral, and by the time they realise that something's up, it's too late. The exception to this is Kiri and Shuichi. They seem to have a grasp that things aren't right throughout the whole series, but at best they're just swept along for the ride as the events happen in the town. I really liked Kiri in particular. She's very grounded and down to earth, and she seems to have a good head on her shoulders, and despite being presented with these absolutely horrific events that seem to be happening all around her, she manages to keep it together, and in true horror fashion she works her way through the problem at hand. I really like that. And Shuichi, it was really fun to because he grasps the situation a little bit earlier, due to something that happens with his parents early on. And it's just fun to watch him become like the crazy town hermit who's just shut in and mumbling on about the spiral. It's really fun to watch the two characters and how they deal with things, and how everything comes together at the end as well with those two characters. Uzumaki is an absolute masterclass in horror, and Ito is just the best at making you want to keep turning the page, even though you know that something horrific is coming just around the next corner. This is in part to the fantastic art style and the writing that's just absolutely dripping in atmosphere. Every turn of the page, Ito manages to pile on the tension as you turn the page thinking that something's going to be there, and then there's not, and there's a little bit more story, and then you turn the next page and the apprehension for that reveal is coming but never comes, and then eventually you will see things that you cannot unsee in this book. There were times when I was reading things in this book that literally made my stomach turn, but I couldn't take a break, and that's Ito's unique talent. He makes you want to read on even though you know that you should probably take a break, even though you're questioning why you're reading. You just keep turning the page. Keep reading, keep turning the page. Now, the artwork in this book is absolutely fantastic, and that's part of the reason why this is so effective as a horror manga. Ito manages to sell that this could be a real town with real people, and that's really important because he'll then put on the page something that you can only dream about in your worst nightmares, and seeing it laid bare is a stark contrast to the realistic artwork. I'm a big horror fan. I love horror in all mediums, and when I think about films, for example, when something horrific happens on the screen, you then get the cutaway and you get another scene. The scene moves on, and that is when you're allowed a respite. So like the tension builds up, you get the big moment, but then you do have a little bit of breathing room. With manga, the pages are static, so it only moves as fast as you're turning the page. But Uzumaki begs for you to just stare. Like, I found myself turning a page onto something and I had to, you know, scrutinize every disgusting detail, and it doesn't let you have that breathing room. When you eventually turn the page, yes, you get a bit of a respite, but I felt like the tension just never goes away. It just builds and builds and builds throughout the whole of a chapter, and it's for that reason that I think that, you know, manga is one of the best mediums for horror in my opinion, and Uzumaki is absolutely one of the best examples of it. I didn't enjoy every chapter in Uzumaki. There were some stories that just didn't land for me when I was reading them. Maybe they felt a bit like a side story almost. Not everyone hit with me, but they were like vastly outweighed by all the chapters that were just fantastic. So, you know, I don't have too much to complain about there, to be honest. Uzumaki was serialized in Japan between 1998 and 1999, and since then it's gone on to be somewhat of a runaway cult classic. It's one of the books that always crops up when you're looking at horror manga. Ito has a number of different works, but I feel like Uzumaki is the one that everyone always brings up, even though it's often regarded as one of his more tame works, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, I did not think that when I was reading it. But yeah, it's an awesome read. It's been available in various editions over the years. The one that I picked up is the 3-in-1 Deluxe Edition by Viz. This is the best way to read Uzumaki in my opinion. It collects all of the chapters, plus some extra content at the end, and also it features some beautiful coloured pages. So I'll just show you the front cover there. Yeah, just that's like a taste of how awesome the artwork is. Yeah, the Deluxe 3-in-1 edition is an absolutely fantastic way to read it. I paid £10.94 for that on Amazon, a price which it's still available for as of recording this video, which is unreal. For the price of 2, you know, shonen volumes, you can get that, and that's just unreal. The cover price of that's £25. So, you know, if you're hesitating and thinking about picking it up, all I can say is, you know, give it a go. You've almost got nothing to lose money wise. If you're a fan of horror and Japanese horror films in particular, I think there's a lot for you to get stuck into and love here. I would definitely recommend that you give Uzumaki a go. Having read this, I now cannot wait to check out Junji Ito's other work. No Longer Human is currently cropping up as being really good, and I quite like the look of Shiver excuse me, and Smashed. Let me know in the comments below if you have read Uzumaki and what you thought of it, or if you've read any other of Junji Ito's work, or if there's any other horror writers that I absolutely should be checking out. This is really this is the first one that I own, and you know, I'm always looking for more suggestions. So if there's something that I should be picking up, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell. It's the best way to get the videos as and when they come out. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Northern Soul Reaper, and until next time, goodbye.